Brice?
I was last.
Mr. Brice?
I was last.
Mr. Brice?
You're taking people out of order.
Would you like to come to the microphone?
It's in the order that it was set up.
Is he last on the list?
Yes, I am.
Council President?
Lane Bajardi wants to go last, and Beth is helping him. That's what's happening. Let's just play.
Ladies and gentlemen, relax.
Mr. Council President,
With all due respect.
Clerk, Mr. Farina, may we look at the list of public speakers, please?
You did the same thing, Peter. You did the same thing, time again.
Brice.
Let Mr. Bajardi, would you please come up?
Okay.
Mr. Bajardi.
Just for the point of order.
President, I would ask you to remind members of the public to not blur
Point of
out
order
board
for the
council
record.
members.
I can see that Mr. Brice was last. Mr. Bajardi was before him.
Did you represent him like you represented Scott Siegel?
I can see.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Council
Or
President,
did
that comment
you
was
just
out of-
direct him to an attorney?
comment about her husband. Eagle that.
Excuse me, Mr. Russo, Councilman Russo, would you please? Go ahead.
I think I left my phone back there. Turns out I didn't. My apologies. Lane Bajardi, Hoboken resident. I think it was very hard to contain my laughter moments ago when Melissa Paparone, of all people, came up to this microphone and noted that there was a hostile atmosphere in the chambers that she was uncomfortable with. Melissa Paparone, for the last 8 years, has been one of the most vile public posters on the internet, slandering people left and right, under the name...
Madam President, I want to caution that you better be very careful of talking about slander and libel here on live television about a member of the public. I don't believe it's
Excuse me, we
appropriate.
have no control over Mr. Bajardi in terms of what he cares to say. If it's the members of the council, that's a... Excuse me. If it's a member of the council, that's one thing, or if this council wants to make a statement about that, that's fine.
Council President, if I could get further advice from legal counsel, is there any legal precedent when it comes to slander lawsuits, libel lawsuits, that we in any way could be held as facilitating that slander or libel?
I want to be very careful. Fact witnesses to a slander action on live television. So
Thank you.
I just would like to
appreciate
caution us
that-
from
that advice to
going
counsel.
that direction.
My point, and I'd be happy to republish on some blog somewhere, the incredibly hostile commentary of Ms. Paparone to members of the public, including myself, and members of this council. So it is truly laughable, and at a later date, I will take it up at an appropriate time to show Ms. Paparone for what she is. Moving on. Work with the administration. This is what the minority wants the majority to do. Work with the administration. The administration is not only refusing to give budget information to the majority of this council, refusing outright to give budget information on an ongoing basis, but is also putting out memos directing members of this council to avoid contact with individuals who work for the city and to direct all questions to Mr. Liston if the rumors on the street are to be believed. No, Mr. Liston, I'm not asking you for you to...
No, I'm going to address that because I'm not going to let you...
You can wait until I'm finished.
No, I'm not going to let you make things up, okay?
No, was there not a memo?
Yeah, there was... No.
Excuse me?
No, excuse me. Excuse me.
Excuse me,
This is
Director.
unbelievable. You're going to let him... You're going to let him lie?
Director.
Directly? Because you know that's not true.
Director, please.
Excuse me, Mr. Russo.
Please.
Council members.
Please. Please.
Council President runs the meeting.
Excuse me. Mr. Bajardi.
Mr. Mello indicates that he does not believe there is any organized effort to misinform the public about what occurred at the last meeting. Mr. Mello, I appreciate the fact that you personally don't participate in the kind of vile activities that go on the internet that destroy the conduct of the conversation of the municipality on a government basis, on a regular basis. I appreciate the fact that you don't include yourself in that. However, it is absolutely the case that a political operation has been set up upstairs in the mayor's office. She has hired a political consultant, not a professional public information officer, but a political consultant to work with individual bloggers and individual commenters. It was none other than former Councilman Lenz that referred to Mr. Priggett online in public as the chief of the Internet Response Committee after Don Zimmer's 4th Ward race, and congratulating him for a job well done in tamping down information about what was really going on in that 4th Ward race and who she was making deals with and moving forward with. So don't tell me, sir, that there is not an organized effort, because anybody who follows any of the discourse online knows that there absolutely is, and that's why you have what you have upstairs. Mr. Tabakin indicates the city shuts down, no police and fire if no budget. That's not true. We've been through this before. We went through this for one day back in 2005. Police and fire came to work the next day, even though the mayor decided to say the city was shut down. Check your state law. Police and fire continues on the job. They have to continue on the job. Mr. Bala, you said the majority is being tone deaf to the public. No, sir, you are being tone deaf. The public spoke in November. You don't like what they had to say, but they did speak loud and clear. And you are now in the minority after the public had a chance to vote, something that wasn't allowed to happen when Mr. Lenz was sitting on this dais. So I'm probably running out of time here, but I think it would be good to know if Mr. Liston is incorrect or if I'm incorrect as to what the City Council has been directed to by the mayor of this city to do in regards to talking with individuals who are under the mayor's authority.
Yes,
I'd be more happy
You called me a liar.
Excuse me, Mr. Bajardi.
It was in accordance with statute that we are, the mayor put out a memo, so communications can be coordinated through my office, because sometimes there are elected officials that contact directors directly, and I'm not being in the loop, being placed in the loop sometimes, and the mayor is just requesting that all the stuff in accordance with the law is being addressed through her or the designee, so we can have communications and coordinations and create efficiencies.
Thank you. Director, did you want to make any other response? No?
No.
Okay, thank you. Did Mr. Brice go?
No.
Roman Brice, Hoboken. We've had a very unfortunate display tonight. I think what we've been hearing a lot of is a conflict that right out of the gate wasn't necessary. We've heard a lot of unfortunate remarks from the back of the room. We've heard some very unfortunate remarks preceding me. We've heard some attacks on city workers. When it's the city workers that are serving the public, whose payroll was being subjected to a whimsical idea written out by hand for no reason, bringing us here tonight unnecessarily. From what I can see, there's a lot of organization amongst the new majority. There's nothing wrong with that. But really, you need to take some responsibility. I've not heard yet one benefit, one savings to the city in this budget, based on what was proposed at the last meeting on Wednesday. I mean, last year there was 2 workshops. There was a lot of good things that were done there. I would hope that you guys do that again this year. But the bottom line is we didn't see that tonight. The elections are in May, but I see Hoboken 411 is in full election mode, attacking members of the public, threatening character assassination. Wow. We're trying to set some standards here. I appreciate the professionals. Ms. Mason,
Excuse me.
are you ever going to use the gavel to control some of the people in the back of the room or
With
not?
all due respect, Mr. Brice, I have been doing that on your behalf
Okay,
sometimes
well,
too. So can we continue?
Perhaps you can do it a little bit more swiftly. The last point that I want to make, Councilman Russo, I asked you a question. What are the benefits of what you brought to the table? You don't have to answer it. I know sometimes people don't want to go into the detail. The matter is over. However, I will be looking forward to seeing all the members of this council actually work together to keep budgetary costs down. We all know where those costs are. They're not in pencils. And I would hope that we get a little bit better decorum. Again, Councilman Russo used to make a point of that. It needs to start up here at the front of the room, talking over each other. There never should be that. Especially the majority should not be talking over the minority. And you should not be talking over your own directors. Thank you. Good night.